Hello, everyone. It's your host, Lauren Castle. I'm back with another podcast today. So, today we're going to be talking about Porter's 5 forces. Porter's 5 forces are the characteristics of an industry environment that have the greatest impact on the performance of the film in that industry. The most fundamental mistakes that students and many other people commonly make when analyzing these forces is that they analyze them from the perspective of the individual firm. For example, they might say, quote, the bargaining power of suppliers for PepsiCo is low because PepsiCo has many options for suppliers of most of their inputs, end quote. This is incorrect. A correct version of this statement would start, the bargaining power of suppliers in the soft drink industry is low because Porter's 5 forces are like the weather. The weather on campus is the same for every person on campus. However, different people make different decisions to deal with the weather. Long sleeve versus short sleeve, carry an umbrella versus a raincoat, etc. In a similar way, although Porter's 5 forces are the same for every firm in an industry, different firms make different strategic decisions to equip themselves against those forces. Some firms might source from multiple suppliers to reduce suppliers' bargaining power, or sign customers to exclusive long-term contracts to reduce buyer bargaining power. When performing Porter's 5 force analysis on behalf of a single firm, each force must first be analyzed from the perspective of the entire industry before any discussion or analysis is provided concerning how that specific firm is equipped to deal with that force. To perform Porter's 5 force analysis, identify the most relevant factors for each force and identify the direction and magnitude of the impact of those factors. If most of the impact indicates a strong force, identify the force as strong. If most of the impact indicates a weak force, identify the force as weak. If the main factors balance each other out, then identify the force as moderate. Here are a few specific notes to keep in mind. Threat of new entrants. To access the threat of new entrants, you must identify the strength of barriers to entry. If you do not discuss the barriers to entry, then you are not properly assessing this threat. If you identify the threat of the new entrants as low, but there are several recent clear examples of successful entrants, you are probably doing it incorrectly and need to reassess. Remember that high barriers to entry mean a low threat of new entrants and vice versa. Supply bargaining power.